All right, it's time for Political Roundtable Mainland 98.3 FM, the show where we look at the major issues in the political space. It's a full house. Barrister 𝗃𝗧 𝗦𝗪𝗁 is in the studio. Joseph 𝗪𝗏𝗀 is already in the studio. And 𝗪𝗏𝗀 𝗦𝗪𝗁 is in the studio with us. So the house is full. It's a complete house this evening. And we have two big issues. The first one, of course, will dovetail eventually to us talking about the umpire, the Independent National Electoral Commission, and the conduct of the upcoming November 11 off-season elections. Of course, we need to look at that. I think we have less than 30 days to that particular election, just about a month for us to get into another election cycle. 3 states in Nigeria, apart from the other supplementary elections to fill up National Assembly positions that are currently vacant. But the focus this evening will be on the governorship elections in Kogi State, Imo State, and Bayelsa State. And basically what we're going to be asking ourselves this evening is there are a lot of intrigues in this particular election, the November governorship poll. So we're going to be looking at the ratings of all the major candidates. We look at their ratings and possible chances and some of the political intrigues that may eventually play out before, during the polls, and maybe after the polls are conducted. So that will be the first issue for consideration on the political roundtable this evening. The second one, the chairman of INEC is making statements and making reassurances again, and assurances that INEC will transmit election results real time with IReV during the November polls. So we are back to the IReV conversation. We are back to transmission of results real time. And that statement is coming from the chairman of INEC, Professor 𝗪𝗵𝘁𝗪 𝗪𝗴, and he says he's going to be transmitting the elections real time. So we're going to see what comes out of that, and those will be the 3 major issues. So let's we'll go straight into all of the issues. Like I said, we're looking at the first issue, the intrigues, in the upcoming November governorship polls. 3 states, Imo, Bayelsa, and Kogi states will be having these off-season elections, and it's important that we delve into it. Of course, if we want to look at the 3 major candidates, in Bayelsa State, we have Governor 𝗏𝗏𝗧 𝗏𝗏𝗧 of the PDP, the incumbent. We have the former governor, former Minister of State for Petroleum, 𝗪𝗵𝗵 𝗪𝗴. He's still hanging, but at least it is still standing, even if it's on the K-leg. But at least he's of the APC. And then we also have 𝗪𝗏𝗪𝗏𝗧𝗏𝗏 𝗪𝗏𝗪𝗏𝗧𝗏𝗏. Let me just go with the 𝗪𝗏𝗪𝗏. Sorry. Of the Labour Party. So of the Labour Party. So he's going to, those are the 3 major candidates that will be running in Bayelsa, the governorship polls. We have 16 candidates that have been cleared by INEC for the election in Bayelsa State. Okay, we also have in Kogi State, again, Kogi is going to be tough. 18 candidates have been cleared by INEC to contest in that election, the governorship elections coming up in November in Kogi State. And of course, we have the very flamboyant, very vocal Dino Melaye of the PDP as one of the leading candidates. We also have Murtala Yakubu Ajaka of the SDP. I think we need to pay attention to this particular, from Kogi East. I think we need to pay attention to this particular candidate. We're going to talk about.
He was the Deputy National Publicity
Secretary. So we're going to talk. We're going to, of course, look at all of the candidates. I'm hoping that we have enough time to really dissect the chances and ratings of these candidates. We also have Ododo Usman Ahmed of the APC. That's the chosen candidate of the incumbent governor, Yahya Bello, and it's from Kogi Central. So
he's from the same local government, the same ward.
So
they said it's his cousin.
Maybe it's his first
No,
cousin.
he denied, but we know what we know.
So, okay. So we'll talk about Ododo Usman Ahmed of the APC. He's one of the frontline candidates in the, at least if for anything, since he's the chosen candidate, the anointed candidate of the incumbent governor. So we need to talk about him. And then we have 𝗪𝗪𝗀𝗪 𝗦𝗫 of the ADC, incidentally from Kogi West, where 𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪 comes from. There are people who have said that, look, if you understand politics and his calculation, it's just a spoiler, maybe to break and further divide the small votes.
The people are clever. Voters are clever now.
But we'll see. We're going to talk about him too, because I've seen that he's been talking tough. He's been around the state. He has a very robust campaign, and I think he's doing well as far as the campaigns are concerned in Kogi State. And then, of course, Imo State, Southeast Nigeria. 17 candidates cleared by the Independent National Electoral Commission. For that one, we have, of course, Governor Hope Uzodimma of the APC. He's one of the frontline governorship candidates in that state. Then we have 𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪 𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪 of the Labour Party. He's also a very, very important candidate to pay attention to. Disabled and
attracting a lot of attention
because of that, because he is so very open and bold about it, and there are people who are actually following him because of that position of his, to come out disabled without any and the Labour Party influence in the Southeast is the reason why people should pay attention to 𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪 𝗪𝗏 of the Labour Party. We also have Samuel Anyanwu of the PDP. So 3 major candidates in Imo State. So, like I said, the first issue to consider.
Sorry, there is also another guy.
Yeah.
Major General Lincoln Ogunewe.
From Imo State. I didn't list it because
it's putting a lot of
crowds. Well, again, we'll go into it, but just on my own list, I thought that these were the 3 major candidates. So that will be the first issue for consideration on the roundtable. We're also going to try to be a bit methodical about it. We'll take it state by state. There's a lot to talk about in Bayelsa State, especially the APC. Just before the show, Joseph Olonsho and Nuruddin were telling me that has the APC learned any lesson from what happened to them in the last election? There are question marks on the candidate himself and the running mate.
Well, someone says the cause of David Leon.
Okay.
Because ordinarily we had expected that 𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪 𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪, who just finished serving as Minister of State,
would have been magnanimous enough, yeah.
Would have left the ticket for David Leon,
considering what happened to him in the last year.
Who was 24 hours away from being sworn in as governor. But of course, politicians, when it comes to
power,
power is an aphrodisiac. As far as politicians are concerned.
And so there's no.
So he didn't
consider it.
he was deserving. After all, Leon was supposed to be his boy. You understand? That's the way politics is played.
All right, we'll get into that because, like I said, there are too many things to talk about as far as by the Bayelsa upcoming governorship election is concerned. In Kogi State, we are going to look at calculations, between Kogi West, Kogi Central, and Kogi East. There are conversations around, balancing of power. Who has gotten word before? Who has not gotten word before? I had to really dig deep into, democratically elected governors in the state. From Abubakar Audu, I started from 1992, which for me, to when we got to Ibrahim Idris, to the particular clearance Olafemi, who came in just for a few months, and then you have Ibrahim Idris, then Idris Wada, and then Yahya Bello. So we look at all of that. You're looking at the November elections. But again, we'll end all of that conversation before we open the phone lines with what we consider the statement now coming from the chairman of INEC about IReV and transmission of results real time. And basically what we're going to be looking at on that one is that a period of redemption? Are we in a period of redemption for INEC? Are they trying to change the narrative and get a better image amongst Nigerians who seem to have lost hope in the ability of INEC to do the right thing? So again, if they are now promising us that, look, this is the time to correct whatever wrongs, and that, look, and he was very emphatic about it, that, look, this is going to happen this time, no glitches. No, but maybe we should give him some, because
they are even more emphatic then.
but let's go straight to the first issue. Again, we are streaming the show live. You can watch us on Facebook, Mainland FM 98.3. You can watch the show live on Facebook, and also on YouTube, Mainland 98.3 FM. You can also drop your comments and contributions on the 2 platforms, and be sure that I'm going to read out all the comments when we open the phone lines and get the show interactive. So again, you can watch us on Facebook, Mainland FM 98.3, and you can also watch us on YouTube, Mainland 98.3 FM. Now, in about a month from today, Kogi, Bayelsa, and Imo residents will elect new governors. That's November 11. INEC has, of course, said, look, all preparations have been completed. They are ready to conduct these elections. Again, when we talk about off-cycle elections in Nigeria, apart from these three, you also have off-cycle elections in Ondo, Edo, and Osun State. And then Anambra State too. So, you know, but let's go straight. I think we should start from, do we start from Kogi State or Bayelsa? My mind tells me you start from Bayelsa State. You have governor, again, the major candidates. There are 17 cleared for the election, but let's look at the major contenders. You have the governor, the incumbent, Governor 𝗪𝗪 𝗪𝗧. He's a former senator, House of Reps member, a former commissioner for youth and sports in the state before following a court judgment. A very interesting court judgment. A man warming up, David Leon, warming up to be declared governor, only for the Supreme Court to give a very damning judgment that eventually saw the emergence of 𝗪𝗪 𝗪𝗧 as governor of Bayelsa State in 2019. You know, again, we remember that Leon won with a very wide margin. So people are saying that, look, yeah, 43.
Yes.
You know, so and people are still questioning the popularity of this governor. If 4 years ago he lost with this margin, you know, with almost double the votes, only for the Supreme Court to now make him governor. So people are thinking that, look, he's not someone who has that backing. He doesn't have that strength, other than the fact that he's an incumbent, and so maybe he has enough in his war chest in terms of finance to run the election. So, but there's also the former governor, 𝗪𝗵𝘁𝘀𝗪 𝗪𝗏, you know, former immediate past Minister of State for Petroleum. And I think he has former governor too, who also has a case hanging on his neck, a federal high court.
That's the highest qualification
in Nigeria.
You must have a case.
Yes, a federal high court just on Monday, this last Monday, disqualified him for having served 2 terms as governor. Sworn in two times. And that was in the first one was in 2007 to 2008.
Yes.
And then in 2008 to 2012. Again, intrigues as to how he was sworn in twice. And what the judgment is saying that, look, if he's allowed to contest now and he wins, he will be governor for more than 8 years. And so, again, he said he's going to appeal. It's not the end of it, but that's the K-leg. He also has a problem with his running mate. You know, who there are issues as to whether it's an ex-convict, somebody who was released from prison as a result of a jailbreak. And there are questions as to whether it was a part of the amnesty program under Yar'Adua or not. And what we are hearing is that he was never a part of that amnesty program. And so he cannot say, look, all is, you know, too many issues. But again, that's the
no standard anymore in Nigeria.
You know, so that's for the APC. And you know, like Nuruddin asked me and Joseph Olonsho, is the APC learning anything? You know, one would have thought that the lessons of David Leon 4 years ago would mean that they will look for a candidate without any problem, without any issues, you know, clean, check. In Bayelsa, they can't find. Are you saying they can't find a clean candidate without any problem? We'll talk about it. And then, of course, in the same Bayelsa, we have 𝗪𝗏 𝗪𝗏, you know, Mr. 𝗪𝗏 𝗪𝗏, who, you know, people are.
Because of his connection
to the youth.
To the youth, yeah.
Nigerian mental
He
movement.
was the former president of Ijaw Youth Council.
Ijaw Youth Council, and that, you know, he has that connection with the youth. And look, don't just push him. It's not a push over. You know, but let me start with you, Barrister Curtis. You know these 3 candidates. You know, these are the major ones I think I can dig out as frontline candidates in these elections. What would your own ratings now, and what do you think would be the intrigue that will play out, and would you see emerging as winner at the end of the day?
So, if you go by how politics is played in Nigeria, can you hear me?
I'm with you, yes. Just
you will say the incumbent has got an upper hand. Bayelsa has only 8 local governments, the local government council in Nigeria. Now, for you to be elected governor, apart from winning the simple majority of votes, having the majority of those votes, you have to score at least a quarter, which is 25%,
Yeah.
2/3 of 8 local governments. So you're looking about between 4 to 5. And don't forget that the governor who has been in power for 4 years has all the local government chairmen with him as his foot soldiers.
You have commissioners.
Yes, he has commissioners. And also don't forget that PDP, Bayelsa traditionally is a PDP state.
state. No state has ever.
No other party has won the governorship election. Because we now have to discount David Leon because he was not sworn in.
Yeah.
Now, 𝗪𝗵𝘁𝗀𝗪 𝗪 himself had sought for another term at some point, if you recall, and he lost to 𝗪𝗃𝗃 𝗦𝗃𝗃. In the second term of 𝗪𝗃𝗃 𝗪𝗪𝗁 actually lost to 𝗪𝗃𝗃. So if you put all this into consideration, and the fact that they are all playing on the same turf, it's going to be your vote. It will be a tough election, all right? But I think it's more likely that 𝗃𝗧 will win it. Especially now that 𝗃𝗃𝗃 is also having some problems. Both judicial problem as well as internal party crisis. Because those who are supporters of David Leon are not happy that 𝗪𝗵𝘁𝗪𝗪 is the candidate of the party. And so I am hearing with 1 year that most of them are working with Governor
Ďuriť.
to say that 𝗪𝗵𝘁𝗪𝗪 does not get in. However, there is a dark cat in the race, which is Mr.
Ďuriť,
the
yes.
younger man.
Younger man, yeah.
And if the youth in Bayelsa can come out en masse, forget about the cash that will be thrown at them by the incumbent and the immediate past Minister of State for Petroleum, they should be able to nip it. Again, all projections favor the incumbent, Governor
Ďuriť. Okay, so you think the power of incumbency, would prevail? But what are people? What of the people?
And the grand game, because he had, like Nuruddin said, he has commissioners, he has SAs, he has PAs, he has local government, he has councillors. In fact, if you are watching the campaigns on TV, you will see that traditional rulers, majority of them are behind him.
They are always
and this is the problem that I have with this so-called talk about traditional rulers should be neutral, they should be independent. How can a traditional ruler be neutral or independent when the governor can remove him?
It should be father.
It's the local government that will remove him.
If you use the Ganduje formula, he said even the Emir of Kano cannot talk to him.
Yes.
He has to talk to his commissioner. Now, when he favors them, the traditional rulers are great. They are fathers of the state, fathers of the people. But when he doesn't favor them, then he has to be removed. So, watching the campaign so far,
so far your own observations
and the grand game, you will see that 𝗃𝗃𝗃 is favored.
Okay, but before I allow Joseph and Nuruddin come into the conversation, like I said, it's 4 years ago he lost by a very wide margin, and people are questioning.
4 years,
if not for the Supreme Court, people are still saying that look, he doesn't really have the ground game.
You know what happened? 4 years ago, it was an open election in the sense that there was no incumbent running in the race. Don't forget. Now, 𝗪𝗃𝗃 was on his way out. And as much as he wanted 𝗃𝗃𝗃 to win, he was not so much invested in terms of cash. And don't forget that at that point in time, his own reputation too had eroded completely because of what happened in the state. So 𝗃𝗃 actually was swinging against the tide. Okay, even instead of just floating on the current, but he was. Now, something has happened in the last 4 years. He has been in charge. He has rebuilt the political system of the state. Okay, and so you will not compare what happened 4 years ago to what is going to happen now, because now it's actually the incumbent is sitting there. He's got a huge war chest to fight this, and don't forget that also, even though at the center we have the 𝗃𝗃𝗃, who have got more resources, got more power, got all the governors moving in. But the reality will be that the PDP will not want to see that tough, because we are going to have people like Atiku Abubakar moving funds there too, all the PDP governors and all that. So, given the fact that Bayelsa traditionally is a PDP state, the fact that you have the incumbency factor, and then they found that 𝗃𝗃𝗁 is somehow in a disarray, and you have a third guy running, meaning that the votes will be splitted, further down the road.
Further down the road, yeah.
It's likely that
Tere will take this.
Tere will pick it.
Joseph 𝗪𝗏𝗁𝗁, again, you are not new to the Niger Delta. Essentially, you are from that region of the country, and you understand their thinking when it comes to elections. But 𝗪𝗏𝗁𝗁 just said that, look, by his calculations, the power of incumbency, the fact that 4 years is enough for anyone in the political space who is smart enough to change what could have happened 4 years ago means that most likely Governor Diri will nick this in. But do you think that the young man can create an upset? The young man, 𝗪𝗏𝗁𝗁 would create a form of upset? Or do you think 𝗃𝗃𝗁, who has been a former governor, sworn in twice, he understands the tough, a former minister, a lot of people say he has a lot of financial muscle to also pull this through, and he has a running mate that people have said he also has a long of connection with some non-state actors who can also pull things to make. We are not going to look at. We are still going to talk about the legal issues around him, but look at the three. Where do you think this would go eventually in Bayelsa State?
I think to me it may be a walkover for PDP. The reason is, let me start with the terrain. The governor of Edo State, who is a PDP, is going to mobilize. Just a stone throw to him. The Delta State governor, who is a PDP, is going to give support. The Akwa Ibom State governor, who is a PDP, is going to give support. The only challenge I have, I don't know the position of the Rivers State governor based on his boss,
godfather.
His godfather. So let me not talk about Rivers State, because it depends on the side that the dancing of the minister for FCT. So now, if this governor in the south who are looking at it that they may not want any odd number in the 6 states of the south, they will do everything possible to see how they can sustain, PDP should sustain or remain in that very state. Then the other one is, let's look at the environment. The staff of INEC that are going to conduct that election, I can bet you, Fuad, there are some individual in INEC, if it is possible, they will not want to go and supervise that election because of the terrain. There are sometimes you can, maybe they move through the boat to a very long, through the water, and sometimes when you're on the other side, it is people that know the terrain that will tell you, Oga, this is how this election will go. Or you choose of staying with them, or you will not pass through that water. You understand? We have to factor, and for now, the governor is in charge of all those terrain, including some of the boys. Let me not call them in. Some of the boys that are control the water, control the land. I believe they are rubbing hands together. Then, just like what our wonderful barrister said, the traditional ruler, you cannot ignore their role. Their roles, yeah. You cannot, because the reason is, some of our traditional ruler, they depend on something that comes from some of these politicians. Unlike UK or Scotland, whereby traditional ruler, what are the prince and king there? In fact, they are the one that even giving support to government and an organization, and even to some other country. But some traditional ruler in our own side, they are waiting for commissioner, what will come out from the commissioner, what will come out from the local government chairman, or a land that they will just see whether it belongs to them or it not belong to them. They will just get it sued, and at the end of the day, they enjoy it. They want to use the money. So, is the permutation for now is going to favor the governor. The only challenge there is, I don't know how he's going to manage the security agency. Okay. Because as far as I am concerned, is it the military? Is it the police? In fact, though we call them Nigeria Police Force, but sometimes some of them act as politician police. So you think that if there is an instruction from Abuja that this is the direction that you push you go, the instruction may not be from the president, but it could be people that will say the president said this is the direction that you push you should follow.
But we are hopeful that with the promise of the INEC chairman this time,
let's leave the promise of INEC.
We're just being real now.
Let's leave him first, because that one is a different thing.
Member of security.
Nuruddin.
He says he's convening a meeting of INEC and security.
Yes.
And he's the head of security.
Now Nuruddin, we've looked at, I think so far, everything seems to be tilting towards Governor Ďery. You know, again, power of incumbency, the fact that 4 years he should be smart enough to have been able to at least change the trajectory in terms of his support base locally. But let's look at the former governor, 𝗪𝗵𝗁 𝗪𝗴, former minister. What do you think should be his strengths, and what do you think are his weaknesses now?
Well, within the last 4 years, a lot of things has changed, even in 𝗪PC, in Bayelsa State. But the problem that 𝗪PC is having is that 𝗪PC is divided in Bayelsa State. Let's be frank. Those the former governorship candidates, his people. But what happened was that immediately
Is it David Leon?
David Leon.
Okay.
Immediately 𝗪𝗵𝗁 took over the party in the state. And one thing, the way our politician rules, that if you control the state executives, the state architecture in that state, you decide who gets what. At that particular time, it was so easy for him to get the ticket, and he got the ticket. But there are some machineries that have been on ground before that they were not happy, because they were thinking that
This
okay,
is time to compensate
this is
David
time
Leon.
to compensate David Leon, that he has to be returned. But with what is on ground and the power of money at that particular time, he has taken over the party. The way they will react will be another form. Then another thing again is this: if we are talking about the boys around in Bayelsa, they speak only 2 languages. One.
When you say the boys, is it the electorate or just the
We are not talking
actors?
about. We are talking about
The non-state
political
actors.
Yes.
Okay, political.
The political
guys.
Political guys. So those guys, they speak 2 languages. One. The first one is money.
Okay.
The second one is those people that have the power in the state to cover them in case something happened during the election. And one of the power that the governors has, if you become a governor, even if you have a tout in a state, you will get pardon.
So you can commit anything. And go court.
You will get pardon. We have, at least we talk about somebody in Abeokuta before we come on here.
State, yeah.
And that is the thing. So in that particular one, they will look. Then another thing again is that something has happened in the last 4 years in Bayelsa State that people don't notice. Majority of the boys in the den, they were beat united. In fact, they were fighting those people that are stealing our halls. They are tend to be fighting those people that are stealing our halls. So, but one thing that the 𝗪𝗵𝗁 has done also, he used his short reign at the helm of affairs as the minister
Or state for petroleum.
of petroleum to also gather some certain things. But the time is too tight for him to have a longer time to do that. With now, there are some things that have changed. The traditional rulers are divided, and majority is still going to the current governor of that particular state.
So
The boys have divided
now.
but about 75-76% still going to the current governor. Then, in terms of what the current governor 𝗪𝗫𝗁 has done in the last 4 years, his performance, how people have rated his performance in terms of education and also in terms of empowerment. So will also play a major role. Then another thing again that is also that 𝗪𝗵𝗁 is also banking on is the federal might. Just like Mr. Folorunsho rightly said. But the only problem there is this: if any person in uniform try to muzzle out what people want,
The will of the people.
the will of the people, there could be a kind of revolt and problem. But one thing that is so certain is this: nobody is going to bully anybody that you are not from Ijaw, they are all Ijaw men. So that one cancels. But one thing that people have to look also up is the Labour Party guy.
Yeah.
But the only problem that I think I have with him is this:
Radiri,
does he have the cash of 𝗪𝗵𝗁? Does he have the cash of the Ďery?
It's
He
obvious
doesn't have.
it, so let's
So
just-
with that, the only thing, and one thing there is that the kite of Labour Party is not flying higher
in the Bayelsa.
in Bayelsa State, because the way the Bayelsa is structured, it was divided from 2 local governments, from Delta State, from River State, and those 2 were Bosha 3 out of them to become 8. And that thing, when you look at 𝗪𝗵𝗲, for instance, is this. I have not seen from 1999 till date. Even when Leon won, he didn't win in 𝗪𝗵𝗲. There are some certain local government, if you like, go and bring anything in that particular local government that they carve out for PDP. And don't forget that traditionally we all know it's the PDP, but a lot of things are going to money, power, and also the boys in the den will also determine.
Now, Mr. Curtis, finally on Bayelsa, we'll make it faster. I'll move to Kogi State. Two issues that also political pundits are talking about: the influence of the former president, President Goodluck Jonathan. The last elections, there are, calculations and permutations that he was not really for Governor Diri, that he actually worked against the PDP, and somehow, again, like I said, speculations and all manner of permutations came up at that time, and that look, he actually
and his boys in the state, they voted
for the APC.
Yes.
That was why the margin was that wide. Up till now, nobody can say the political stand of former President Goodluck Jonathan as it is. It's never been found in any PDP meeting. He has not even declared for any political party.
And he didn't go to APC meeting.
And he has not even been so. But there are people who think that as a former president, he has influences in that state. Do you think that will count for anything in this election?
Well, I think right now, former President Jonathan is a political hermaphrodite.
How do you mean?
In the sense that it's neither in the PDP or in the APC. Okay. Because don't forget that in the last general election, his name was mentioned with APC at some point. In fact, there were brochures that were printed touting him as a candidate. But then we knew that he didn't resign from the PDP, but he was not attending their meetings.
And up to now, he has not attended any meeting.
I think he's now playing the role of a statesman by saying, I don't want to identify with any political party openly.
But this is his state.
And all that.
This is closer home to him
now. The question, therefore, is what level of influence has he got right now? What level of influence does he have at this moment, which is critical? You could be former head of state, you could be former president, but if you are not involved in the politics of the state, if you have ceded the turf to the governor all this while, there's nothing much he can achieve. You know that. Yes, he has his crowd. He has those who will always fly with him into the moon or wherever he's going. But the question is, would that be enough to change the trajectory of the race? And I don't think so.
All right.
More so that in the last 4 years, Governor Diri would have taken care of him in ways that he couldn't.
Taking care of him in what way?
Well, there are homages.
How do you take care of a former president?
Respect, homages.
The funny thing, one of the downsides of human living is that no one has got enough. And so, and I'm not talking about in terms of material things
alone.
But don't forget that one of the things that the former president talked about at some point, even the second time election of 𝗪𝗏𝗪 Dixon, I think President Jonathan was supporting 𝗪𝗏𝗪 𝗪𝗏𝗪. And one of the things he said then was that the reporting was that 𝗪𝗏𝗪 𝗪𝗏𝗪 didn't respect him. 𝗪𝗏𝗪 Dixon didn't respect him so much, especially his wife. And so he had to back 𝗪𝗏𝗪 𝗪𝗏𝗪 against 𝗪𝗏𝗪 Dixon. But 𝗪𝗏𝗪 won the second time convincingly. But don't forget that it was Mrs. Jonathan who brought 𝗪𝗏𝗪 Dixon to be governor first time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So these things change from time to time.
And Leon is also Mama's son too.
Yeah. So given the
reality of that,
the interplay of forces and the conflicts that we're seeing within the APC, I think it will be too much to expect that the APC can just win, even if they had to deploy
the federal might.
The federal might. Don't forget, we didn't talk about the boys. These boys are not men armed with catapult.
Big constituency.
Some of them have guns or weapons that are more superior to those carried by military men.
Guys.
And they got to know the terrain.
So my appeal will be for the federal government to ensure that
will of the people
this is a level playing field and that federal might should never be deployed.
And let the will of the people prevail.
Prevail.
All right, let's go. let's go straight to Bayelsa State. Still political roundtable, mainland 98.3
Kogi?
FM.
Kogi,
Yeah, we're going to Kogi State now. We're streaming the show live. I can see comments. I think I want to sincerely thank Mr. Jonah Okoji, who notified us that we're having some issues with our output. So I think that has been resolved now, and everyone is hearing us loud and clear. Thank you so much, Mr. Jonah Okoji. And he said he's a diehard fan. You have to put out there that, look, he's a diehard fan of the show. We're streaming the show live on Facebook, mainland FM 98.3. Also on YouTube, mainland 98.3 FM. Now we have Barrister 𝗪𝗧𝗪 𝗪𝗏 in the studio, Nuruddin Adegbero in the studio, and Joseph Folorunsho. Let's go straight to Kogi State. Let's start with Mr. 𝗪𝗵𝗪 𝗪𝗏𝗪. He enjoys the advantage of being the only Ododo, sorry. He enjoys the advantage of being the only candidate from Kogi Central.
Yes.
So there are people who say, look, he has that bulk of votes. We are going to talk about whether it's an advantage. So, but people think it's an advantage that he's the only one from Kogi Central. And also the fact that, look, is the choice candidate of the incumbent governor, Mr. Yahya Bello. So those are strengths. But there are people who also think that the minus for him is that, look, a lot of APC members in that state are not happy. Like Mr. Smart Adeyemi and some others are still not happy about his emergence as a candidate of the APC. There are also people who think that, look, in most of his public appearances, he has not really been that convincing. He doesn't really show that charisma, poise, and competence. Again,
there was a meeting 3 days ago where the governor, the deputy governor, and the political leaders all spoke. He never spoke.
So again, we're going to get to that because again, there are people who question his character and charisma, to be able to drive a stake. Like, well, it's the choice of the governor, Mr. Yahya Bello. It's also from his local government. Like Nuruddin said,
he's from his ward. Which one is local government?
And if you know the things how he works in Nigeria, it could even be his first cousin or even
he denied, but we know what we know.
All right, so let's go to the very flamboyant Senator Dino Milai of the PDP. Now, he's the gubernatorial of the PDP, former House of Reps member, senator. He's from Kogi West. And he's not the only candidate from that senatorial zone. That's not a zone that has the voting population. But there are people who think that, look, he's very popular in the state. His exploits with the PDP, his very flamboyant nature, he's very vocal, maybe a better charisma than Mr. Ododo. So people think that may well count if he's able to, across the state, form alliances, because again, it doesn't have that voting bloc coming from the Yoruba-speaking side of Kogi State, that's Kogi West, the Okun people. So, but that's Senator Dino Milai. We also have Muritala Yakubu Ajaka, who was the former Deputy National Publicity Secretary of the APC. He resigned from the party, after which he emerged as the candidate of the SDP. So he left the APC to join the SDP. Many residents see him as the likely winner. The polls that are being conducted by people on ground are already tipping him to win that election. He's from Kogi East, the region with the highest number of votes. There are also people who think that he's well grounded, he has the connection, he has the capacity, and there are people who think that, look, he only stepped aside because the governor did not want him, and that he may eventually win and come back to the APC, which is his traditional political talk. But again, we'll talk about him and allow my analysts to make informed analysis on that. And then we have Mr. 𝗪𝗪𝗪 𝗪𝗏𝗪 who is a serving House of Reps member under the platform of the ADC, represents Yagba Federal constituency. He was elected in February 2023. He's running under the ADC platform, and he's also from Kogi West. One is thinking that, look, how do you divide the vote that is not big enough? But those four candidates, the major ones for me, Barrister 𝗪𝗪𝗪 𝗪𝗏𝗪, what do you think? Where do you think the pendulum will swing?
Okay, so this is what is happening in Kogi State. You listed out the names of former governors.
Yes. We can really take that.
Starting with Abaka
Audu 1992 to 1993.
Yes.
Abaka Audu again 1999 to 2003.
That government was cut short.
Was cut short, yes.
So
there was now Ibrahim Idris, who came in 2003 to 2008.
Yes.
And then there was a ruling of the Supreme Court too that made him step aside temporarily.
And Clarence Obafemi.
And then Clarence Obafemi just stood in for some few months.
Yes.
Then Ibrahim Idris came in 2008 to 2011, also from Kogi East.
Yes.
Idris Wada, also from Kogi East, came in 2012 to 2016 until we had Yahya Bello.
Now, how did Yahya Bello come in?
Emerge, yes.
Because Abubakar Audu, the candidate of APC, had won the election, technically won the election. Now, the only reason why INEC declared that election inconclusive was because votes standing outside, the votes were higher
than the margin of victory.
But technically, if you take into consideration the actual turnout of voters, the average, there was no way
you would have lost the election.
Turnout would have been so much that he would have lost the election. And so APC had to go back by a day's journey to say who and who contested the party primaries. They found out that Yahya Bello came second, but unfortunately, but then he had already left APC and joined another party. And in fact, the day to that election, had called upon his supporters to support Wada.
Not even the candidate of the party.
Not even the candidate of the party. But as it turned out, he inherited those votes and he became governor. Now, I had to tell this story because people must understand that all the years in Kogi, there was no way any other candidate, either from Kogi West or Kogi Central, could have become governor.
It has to be Kogi East.
If Abubakar Audu did not die suddenly after winning the election. Okay? So that is the political ecosystem that Yahya Bello inherited and then tried to remake it in his own image. And what he has done. Now, the last election, the second election that brought him in as governor,
the second time,
was characterized by the worst violence in the history of this country. A PDP woman leader was killed. In fact, people couldn't vote. And this is one governor, of course, that has a reputation for violence. The last election, you saw how the day before the election,
cut out the road.
He cut out the road leading to
Natasha
Koti's constituency.
They were building a road.
Yes. No, they were not.
On the eve of
few days the election.
So, and the same thing he did during the party primaries. That's why you have people like Smart Adeyemi and Muri Ajaka leaving the party. The conduct of the primaries was not free and fair. All that the governor did was, in fact, the list of delegates were changed so many times.
Multiple times.
That in fact, delegates who had gathered, some delegates who had gathered, were told that they were no longer delegates.
Smart Adeyemi kept complaining.
Yes, they're no longer delegates. And so Ododo, who is now, who was the Auditor General of local government
in the state.
And of course, that's where the bodies are buried.
At the local level.
Yes, because you see, local government funds.
Easy.
So the governor insisted
that it has to be
that he had to be the candidate of the party. And like you pointed out, nobody has heard him speak. Nobody knows who he is or what he stands for. But this is what is interesting. You know, anger is a manure for victory in politics. Kogi East are saying, look, you from the central, a minority, became governor because of the tragedy
that happened to us.
You picked one of our sons. First of all, it was Achoba.
Yes.
And then later, Edward Onoja
as deputy.
Yes. And we voted for whatever reasons, we say, okay, it is time for you to have a second term.
8 years.
But then now, you are saying to us that we are nothing. And so you went to pick your cousin from your ward, from your local government, to succeed you.
From his zone,
now,
the same zone.
If your cry of marginalization and injustice were to have any sense or meaning at all, what you should be doing is to look west, Kogi West.
If indeed you want to talk about equity and fairness.
Equity and fairness. You should be looking at Kogi West to say, okay, I am from the central, I've done 8 years. All right? Let's go to the west. No, but you chose to hold back the power in Kogi Central.
He is arguing by Sakotis that, look, Kogi East had done 16 years.
Yes, so
and that if he did, Kogi Central has done 8 years under him.
So he needs to do 16 years
so that,
before the West can do.
That's what he's saying.
Before the West can do 16
That's also
years.
some of the calculations. That's what.
So and you now make sure that the one of the West nothing will come out of it.
So this is the setup. Kogi has got 21 local governments. I think close to more than half.
It's in Kogi East.
It's in Kogi East.
Yes, 9 local governments.
Yes.
And they are very sophisticated.
And they have the voting population.
And they have the voting population. 51%.
You're talking about Ankpa, Ida, Olamaboro, and all Dikina, Ofu, and
Ankpa.
So
the big local government.
But if these guys can come together, like I'm hearing, a lot of people are angry about what is going on in Kogi. Civil servants are also not happy about how much they have been paid. I listened to the Commissioner for Information, who was comparing Kogi to other states in the North Central, and who talked about how PDP was paying 25% of staff salaries before they came and increased it to 50%. And he felt that was a big achievement, considering what they met on ground. Well, I think that Bello and his party are just banking on the fact that they control the instrumentality of violence in the state, and that they have the federal might behind them, and that they can win, and they have the resources also. However, like you observe, if you have watched or you've been following the campaign of Muri Ajaka, it's not the campaign really is not about Muri. It's about the local sentiment in Kogi East, that if we allow this to happen again, we will never regain the leadership of the state. And that's why wherever he goes, you see, notwithstanding the attempts by Bello, one of the big guys from Kogi East, who is the henchman of Bello, who used to get people to comply with whatever Bello wants to do in that part of the state, was killed. And the speculation is that it was because he didn't want to go along with them this time around. That the same people who had protected him over the years suddenly accused him of being an armed robber. And they killed him somewhere, I think around the July or so, some months ago. So it's going to be a tough battle. Like you said, 𝗪𝗪𝗁 is from the West, but he has large followership across the entire state. Because he's bright, he's loud, he's brilliant, he's dramatic,
very vocal,
and very vocal. Recall that when there was an attempt to recall him, his support was not only in Kogi West, but all over Kogi State. So, again, he doesn't have the number so much, but if you can get the young people in different parts of Kogi, considering the internal crisis within the 𝗵𝗔, and the fact that the PDP is not mounting big challenge in the state, rather it is the SDP, they might have a chance. Okay? The guy for Abejide, right? Yeah, Abejide is making a lot. He's making a lot of moves around because he was a successful businessman before he joined politics, and as a politician, he was also local government chairman for some time before he went to the House of Reps. But I don't think that he has enough grand game to beat Dino in the West. I think.
But what of it becomes a spoiler? Depletes the little votes that naturally comes from Kogi West.
I think voters have become more sophisticated than we think they are. They probably know, and I think even within the zone, by now they'll be talking to themselves about who they should back.
Do we have a likelihood of people stepping down at the last minute?
Well, he talked about, in fact, not for Dino, rather for 𝗵𝗔, because if you listen to his last interview, he alluded to that fact that he was under a lot of pressure from his party to step down for the candidate of the party. He said so, but he said he wasn't going to step down.
All right.
So I think that it's going to be a big fight. The incumbency factor is there. The ability to carry out violence against voters is also there.
Federal might thing.
But federal might is there. The huge war chest is. Don't forget that the chairman of the party and some governors have already visited the state. But if the people of Kogi East are really determined to hold forth, okay?
They have the voting population.
They have the voting population to beat the 𝗵𝗔 candidates.
All right, Nuruddin, what do you think? Do you think that, again, I look at 𝗪𝗪𝗁 again from Kogi West, the population and everything, and I'm like, where can the victory come for him? I really want, because again, if there's any candidate that's very popular across the country, it has to be Senator 𝗪𝗪𝗻𝗁. So I keep looking at it. Where can the victory come for him? Where is the hope that he could need this? And again, if we look at the voting pattern in Kogi State, that does not seem to favor anybody from Kogi West. The man that was going to be very lucky would have been our guy from Lagos State, 𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪, until things changed and eventually saw Yahya Bello emerge as the governor. And people have thought that, look, for Kogi West to ever produce a governor, it has to be a miracle. If it's a by-election, it may never happen.
Or what happened to Adabak has to happen to another person.
God forbid. And that's the miracle I'm talking about. Anything, different. But
it's the same situation you have in Benue.
Benue, because Benue too, there are people that there's a particular zone that people have said that will never produce the governor.
Never, unless something happens to the governor.
So what do you think 𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪 is looking at? Again, if you remember, some week the former governor of Rivers State, current minister of FCT, has said that, look, this guy cannot win this election. Where is the victory going to come from? And all of that too. So do you think Dino stands any chance? A miracle can happen, or you think no, it can never happen?
Well, I can't say it can happen. What people normally talked about when they talked about Kogi State, when they talk about the Igalas, by the time they want to talk again, they will talk about Ibiras and they will leave Okuns. But what they don't know is this: the number of local governments under Kogi West is even more than Kogi Central.
The number of what?
Local governments. The number of local government in Kogi West is 7 local governments, while the one of Kogi Central is 5 local governments. When we have like Kaba, Bunu, Kafe, Mopa, Muro, and all those ones.
But what about voting population?
One thing there is this: as much as voting population is important, the number of local government is also important. As much as population is important, the number of local government is important, because you must also have 2/3 in all those states.
The quarter of
each state is going to across. So that one is one thing. Then another thing again is this: in Kogi West, because you have people coming from Kogi West. But one thing again that I think 𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪 can play on is this: one, Okene is going to be very, very difficult, because that is the home state of the governor and the governorship candidate. That local government. Then, but Ajaokuta happen to be a split of APC, PDP. Even there are some certain people that are going after Ajaka. It's open to all. So if he can really get from Ajaokuta, then another place that he needs to work on is Ogorimagongo. Because in Ogorimagongo, in that particular area, the youth there are well learned and vocal. And they love somebody even vocal. Even when he visited Ogorimagongo, there a lot of turnout for him. So for him to win, firstly, he needs to do well in the 7 local government of the senatorial district.
His
own senatorial district.
Pocket all of that.
He needs to do very, very well, even pocket all. Then if he can negotiate from Ajaokuta and also Ogorimagongo, but Okene, Okeyi, and 𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪, it's like an home state
for the governor,
for the APCs.
Okay.
So if he can negotiate from Ajaokuta and also for Ogorimagongo.
But what of Kogi East?
Then from the Kogi East, he lay emphasis on Kogi East now. But the problem that he can have from Kogi East is that the Kogi East senatorial district is like they are wounded.
You want the power back?
They want the power back seriously, and at the same time, there are a lot of social cultural organization in that senatorial district that they are merging together. In fact, there are a lot of walls that are being mended, basically because of Murtala Yakubu Ajaka. So what he needs to do, but there are some certain local government also in that
are being
open that he can also. He may not have majority, but there's a way he can split the vote one way or the other
and
to be able to really take something out of. One of that particular one is the one of Olamboro.
Olamabaro.
One thing that is so significant there is that there are some certain settlers. They are not really indigenous of that particular place, that if he can place also on them, he will be able to. Then another one is the one of Ankpa. One of the things that is working, that can also work for him in the ANCPA is this. There are some certain Hausa community. And don't forget, Dino Melaye was born in Kano. He can speak Hausa very well. In fact, there are some certain Hausa you speak. Hausa Kano is like a Lagos phonetic English. But Sokoto Hausa, Dino Melaye can also speak.
So you think you will connect with the Hausa population?
What is now focusing on majority in Kogi West is that all those Hausa community, he did not send people there. He is going there himself and is talking to people. So if he can be able to negotiate a little bit, maybe 1 or 2 or 3 local government, he can negotiate. He may not win if possible, and if he can win, but he needs to make sure that the Kogi West is well delivered, and he can also negotiate in 2 local governments of the Kogi Center I've talked about, like Ajaokuta and Ogorimagongo. And also he needs to negotiate 1 or 2. It's going to be difficult. But the thing there is this: if you have Leke Joseph Abejide still in contention, one of the things that there's a problem. I will tell you the problem. There are some 3 local governments out of the 7 local governments of Kogi West that guy, if he wakes up tomorrow, he may win that 3 local government. I will tell you the reason. Before Yaya Bello just now declare that election, that education is going to be free from primary to clinical, this guy has the highest number of students that he paid for about 80 years ago, that he has been paying for WAEC. In fact, he pays for WAEC students even more than the state government in those 3 local governments alone. And that was the reason why it was very, very easy for him, upon being in an unpopular party, and can win back to back
to House of Reps.
So that is one of the things. And one thing there is that he has one big foundation. We need to give it to that guy. That foundation is basically on empowerment of youth and women.
All right. Again, my eyes would go back. Let's Joseph Folorunso, let's go back to the APC. If I listen very well to what 𝗪𝗪 𝗪𝗏 said, the governor may be having the people rise against him from Kogi East, most likely, because they feel that, look, you actually became governor because of Abaka Audu, and now you are now telling us that you are now for equity and fairness. Well, indeed, we even supported you because you chose our sons to become deputy. Instead of you to quietly and gracefully return the team back to us, you are now telling us mathematics. And so he may have a lot of problem in Kogi East, and of course his quest to ensure that Mr. Ododo becomes the governor of the state. But again, for Folorunso, there are people who are saying that, look, his performance as governor is going to rub off on the APC in that state. He is one of the governors that a lot of Nigerians have said that, look, if you want to really look at their performance, you probably want to. He says it's one of the lowest in terms of performance.
Even the salary.
Yeah, and there have been issues with salary, performance. And then also, Joseph Folorunso, I think we have to be truthful to ourselves. This is not the best time for the APC in terms of what Nigerians are going through. So as a party, there are people who think that the image of the party is very low across board. And this is the first time after President Bola Ahmed Tinubu removed subsidy and the aftermath of subsidy removal that, the party will be going to the polls in 3 states. That may also count against the APC in Bayelsa. Sorry, in Kogi, Bayelsa, and Imo. But let's limit it now for now to Kogi State. So do you think the battle is going to be majorly between Mr. Ajaka of the APC, sorry, Mr. Muritala Ajaka of the SDP, and then Dino Melaye of the PDP? Do you think that it's a foregone conclusion for Dodo of the APC?
Okay, if you look at the number of candidates from Kogi West, it shows that Dino Melaye was actually a candidate that they want to do everything possible to monitor
what's going on in Kogi West. So you think he sponsored
some of those candidates in Kogi West could be a holding candidate.
Spoilers, majorly.
Okay, let's look at them like a spoiler. But there's one thing that have happened to Dino that I'm surprised is, when his name came out then as the candidate for PDP, the man for Rivers State, now the man for Abuja, was trying to distract him. I think we quickly know that the bullet from 𝗪𝗧𝗪𝗏 will take him off
the focus. Really.
So he quickly rearranged himself, whatever is now coming from Rivers State, then he was not paying attention to them. Now, Mr. Nuruddin mentioned one very vital thing. Ogorimagongo predominantly is a PDP place because of this proximity to Edo State then. Because they share there's a boundary between.
You know, there's
very
something
close.
there's something
Now-
interesting about Kogi State. By 𝗪𝗪 𝗪𝗧𝗪 that I've just discovered. That it actually shares boundaries.
No, it's the one that shared the highest number of boundaries.
You know,
It's in the center of
Yes,
Nigeria.
Share boundaries with Edo, Benue,
Yeah.
Kwara, Nasarawa, Anambra, Enugu, Ondo,
Yes.
Niger,
It's the center of Nigeria.
and Ekiti State, and even the
It's
FCT.
the center of
So
Nigeria.
now Ogorimango is going to be very, very tough. And I see that if 𝗪𝗵𝗁 actually work with some people there, he may be a bit get his support. Then he mentioned issue of Ajakuta. Ajakuta local government is like Oshodi Solo, whereby
In Lagos,
in Lagos, whereby
They're
you have a non-indigenous
dominating that
because
place.
of when Ajakuta still was
still running.
was still running.
built house
a lot
there.
of people were there and they now stayed there. So you can't actually know the direction that they will follow. So if 𝗪𝗵𝗁 is able to capitalize on that again, then let's now come to Lokoja, which is the capital. Dino, as he said, he speak Hausa fluently. And you know our brother from the north. If you identify with them, they identify with you. Now, this is the challenge that the APC is having. Even within the Okene, the Kogi Central,
Yeah.
if you are not pro Yaya Bello, you have to hide your head. You understand? A lot of people, there are a lot of people who are very peaceful in Kogi State. They are not violent type. So yes, it's their son, but they don't support the violent side of
the governor.
people
and the
around.
things or
The governor
things
may be a
around
very
him,
peaceful person.
or the people around
but people
him,
around
or the
him,
things around him.
yes. Now, the people in the Kogi East, this is the time they want to say, okay, you disappointed us. We're thinking we support you because you pick you use one of our person to replace the deputy governor. And again, even the former deputy governor, he will do everything possible to work against him because of circumstances surrounding his impeachment. Then even this current deputy governor, I believe the way that guy supported Yaya Bello, I was thinking he's going to be the candidate
of the party. That's a
Because
good nudge.
they use him to work against his own brother. You understand? So he's going to, with all this thing I've done against my own brother, is it the reward for me? And highest, are you going to make me commissioner maybe after his the 8 years with it? So my challenge is this. Just as you said, APC as a party is not equally helping the issue. The removal of fuel subsidy.
And it's the first time elections are coming after that.
Then secondly, I believe maybe Yaya Bello is equally banking on federal might. But the federal might that he's having now, I don't think it's like the one that he had during the former president.
Time, yeah.
You know, I don't know.
Buhari is back completely.
Yes, in fact, assuming it is during Buhari, I would say, if Yaya Bello decide to pick his wife
As a governorship
candidate, he may win because the
relationship between Buhari,
the relationship within the presidency, and you know,
he say he's the son of
yeah,
Buhari.
so the president, they will say whether the military, the police, the president said, because in Nigeria there are something that the governor did not say, there are something that the president did not say, but they will tell you, say the president said this is direction you should follow, whether you are a police, you are a
so you think it's going to be tough for the APC?
It's going to be very, very tough for APC. So what I will advise is, it not depend on, Dino has a chance. It depends on his own strategy and his team, what they can do with, how can they take a number of votes from Kogi Central. If they can display, because Ododo actually is not, many times when you have opportunity, maybe it's even for him to even address talk to press, it's as if maybe I don't know what will happen. Then people will not, Ododo being a governor of Kogi State is like Yaya Bello being a governor of Kogi.
In extension.
Because they don't know if Yaya Bello finish his tenure, whether he will make a minister, they will give him any federal appointment, or they may not give him. But my challenge is this. I am seeing that if Ododo is able to win that election, highest 1 year, he and Yaya Bello will have a fight between Wike
and all right, it's still
I think Joseph made the point that the current deputy governor works so hard for the governor. I think I don't think that's exactly what happened. he was a victim of his own ambition.
That's Edward Onoja.
Edward Onoja was
Because he was chief of staff.
when he was chief of staff, he did not even allow the deputy governor to have any time with his governor. They were the people, putting in the governor's head, oh, this guy is after your job. Don't eat with him. Don't eat with him. Don't ever sit down with him. He will kill you and take over. And when he got promoted to that position, and they appointed a new chief of staff,
that one also blocked.
the same chief of staff, the new chief of staff adopted the same policy towards him because they also saw that he was very ambitious. And the problem is, back in Kogi East, he's seen by his people now as an enemy because because of his own personal ambition, he thwarted the desire of the zone collectively to regain power. So right now, even he's working for the 𝗵𝗵. He had nowhere to go.
Of course.
You understand? But deep down in his heart,
It's not.
he knows that it's going to be a tough battle in his zone.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
We're still streaming the show. It's still Political Roundtable. The show. We're streaming it on Facebook, Mainland FM 98.3. Our comments are dropping. You can be a part of that conversation. A lot of interesting comments. I'm going to take them all. So you can also drop your comments on our Facebook platform and even YouTube platform. When we open the phone lines, I will start to take contributions. I'll definitely read all of those comments out. Let's go to Imo State, Southeast Nigeria. A lot of interesting things happening already. There's so much insecurity in Imo State. If there's one state in the last 4 years that I've seen terrible situations in terms of insecurity, it has to be Imo State in the Southeast. We've seen a whole local government under siege. We've seen killings. We've seen security officials burnt alive. A lot of terrible things have happened under Governor Opus Odima of the 𝗵𝗵𝘁 in the last 3 years or so. And I must say that it's one state that a lot of people are keeping an eyes on because of the implications, especially for that particular region. The top contenders, let's just talk about the top contenders now. Of course, the incumbent governor, Governor Opus Odima, who came in after the Supreme Court nullified the election of 𝗪𝗪𝘁𝗃 𝗪𝗪 of the PDP and declared him the winner despite coming fourth in the election results announced by INEC. He has the advantage of incumbency, no doubt. He will also enjoy the 𝗵𝗵𝘁 support, federal might, that's what people are saying. In August, Udima dropped his deputy. That's also a factor that people are pointing out. He dropped his deputy and unveiled 𝗪𝗪𝗃 𝗪𝗃𝗪 as his running mate for the poll. People had thought that was going to run with his deputy. We also have Atan Achonu, that a lot of people are talking about, even majorly for the optics. One of our very own Obi, who calls in a regular caller, said that he's also going back to Imo to campaign for him because he believes in his candidature. He is the candidate of the Labour Party. He served briefly in the National Assembly as a senator before the court sacked him. Achonu has built a name for himself by embracing his disability. He displays it openly, and there are people who think that that sentiment seems to be, that emotional, physical sentiment seems to be working in his favor. There's also the Labour Party factor in Imo State. The fact that, look, the Labour Party seems to have a lot of following now in the Southeast, and the influence of Mr. Peter Obi could well work for him. We also have someone
proximity to Abia State.
And proximity to Abia State.
You have a sitting governor on the Labour Party ticket.
Labour Party ticket, and that he's going to get that support also just across the borders. We have Samuel Anyanwu of the PDP, who the former National Secretary of the PDP. He served as a senator in the 8th National Assembly. He contested for the PDP in 2019 and was defeated by 𝗪𝗪𝗃 𝗪𝗪𝗃. So he's not a
local government chairman.
So he's not new to the terrain. So he's flying the flag of the PDP in that state. But 𝗪𝗃𝗪 𝗪𝗃, what do you think, these four candidates?
Well, like you said, Imo is a challenge. Imo State has 27 local governments.
Yeah.
It has a total of 4,758 polling units. We've been told by INEC that elections will not hold in 38 polling units because voters did not register to vote in those 38 places. Like you rightly pointed out, the politics of Imo has been characterized by violence.
Violence, yeah.
And Imo, of course, has the distinguished honor of having a governor who is going to take 4,000 people to Europe to employ.
He said he's going to use empowerment.
Yeah, that's it. Man,
Right now,
it's a big honor.
you
It's the only
cannot
one-
you cannot employ them at home. You are taking them
You're
abroad.
taking them
That's what I'm
abroad.
saying.
He said for
Anyway,
training for
just to
International job.
training.
yeah, get them the job, and then the government will buy their ticket. I mean, of course, you understand the delicate nature of the politics in Imo State.
Imo State, yes.
Imo traditionally was a PDP state,
Yeah.
right from day one. In 1979 was NP, I think it was MPP.
Yeah.
Sam Bakwe won on the ticket of MPP, and after Sam Bakwe, 𝗪𝗃𝗃 I think 𝗪𝗃𝗃 yes, or
Yes.
Hakim,
Hakim,
Hakim.
yeah.
I think Hakim won on the ticket of PPA.
No, that was when he was senator.
when he was senator. But then I think Okorocha was initially Abga
Abga
or
before he-
Apuga
Abga.
as a
Before he moved to the APC.
before he moved to the APC.
Yes.
But one interesting development that I have seen is that, you know, in the last 4 years, the former governor of Okorocha and Hope Uzodinma were fighting each other to death.
Yeah.
But they have
They're
reconciled.
back, they're back, yeah.
The party brought them together. That's telling. Now, telling in the
So
sense that
that's one good thing for the APC.
it's one good thing, but again, it tells you that the candidature of Hope Uzodinma is not a very popular candidate. One.
So you needed to bring in-
Otherwise, he won't go looking for Okorocha and his son-in-law, Uchenwosu Ogumba.
We fought
Fought
dead.
badly, you know, Ogumba to come and help him. And interestingly, also, the PDP has a strong candidate in
Samuel Anyanwu.
Anyanwu, of course, who is a grassroots politician. But I think that given the security situation in Imo State, which the federal government will use as an excuse to militarize
that election.
the state, that it might just be too much for the PDP to cause an upset. I want to believe
What of
that.
the Labour Party?
Yeah, that's
Mr.
where.
Achonu.
So I'm just trying to take them one by one. Now, the Labour Party candidate Achonu, as you said, has a unique selling point, which sort of draw empathy
To him.
to him, even though he doesn't feel that he deserves that empathy, because they feel that there's ability in the disability, and that there's nothing the Hope Uzodinma, the Anyanwus can do that he cannot do. And don't forget that because of the local sentiment, there will be mania in the southeast of the country, even though we didn't see that happen so much
During the governorship election.
because you see, like we have always said,
Federal is different from
all
state.
politics is local.
Mm.
And there were local forces of incumbency, forces
Just
of
were able to pick one state. Abia.
political realignment and all that. And maybe some candidates that were not very popular, but they were going to ride
On the Labour Party
on
way.
the Labour Party ticket to power. Having said that, Achonu is going to put up a strong fight, you know. And if you have this kind of confusion, you have this kind of power stations in different areas of the state by the political parties, the chances are that the winner will not have too much of a victory. And don't forget, that was what happened 4 years ago.
Yes.
That election that brought even 𝗪𝗪𝘁𝗃 𝗦𝗪, who was declared the winner, did not meet the constitutional threshold.
Yes.
And that was where a lot of people felt that what ought to have happened then was the court ought to have declared the seat vacant and then another election held to fill that seat. But the court, in its wisdom, turned into a mathematician,
Subtracting, use board maths.
And the fourth became the winner.
and ended up with the fourth as the
As the winner.
as the governor was asked to be sworn in. So I think that Imo State is a state to watch. There are those who are saying, okay, Hope Uzodinma is from the west, and he's the only candidate from the west,
And so it's easy because
and that it's going to be easy for him. Or they say, oh, Anyanwu and
Achonu.
Achonu,
From
I think from the
from the
north or
north
something.
part, yeah.
So, but the truth is that local sentiment for Labour Party, the fact that Hope Uzodinma is not someone that is also loved so much, you know, the way he became governor, a lot
the
of
performance.
a lot of people in Imo State have still not recovered. Have not
sentiment,
recovered.
yeah.
And then he also, I don't think he has done so well as a governor. Although we heard so much about what he has done, and you see traditional rulers and all kind of people being coerced or pushed around to
Don't
come.
you think what you all said about the 4 years of Governor Ďiriň Bayelsa regalvanizing
No,
support to
look,
work for
he would-
it's 4 years.
And don't
He's been
forget
there
that-
for almost 4 years.
Don't forget that he has also played his politics well at the central government. I don't think there's a governor that is closer to the president than Hope Uzodinma. And even when Buhari was there was no governor closer
I
to
think Buhari
Buhari than Hope
visited the state.
Of course,
Yes,
twice.
Twice, yeah.
So he knows how to play that game.
The alignment with the federal
Yes.
structure.
But whether that will be enough to deliver victory to him, because of the local forces, forces that we actually do not know what impact that they will have. But if we are to apply what we have applied in other states, the incumbency factor, the fact that he has a huge war chest, the fact now that the former governor 𝗪𝗏 is back in his column, the fact that the traditional rulers are also campaigning for him.
For him, yeah.
Well, it's possible that he nips it. So
All right, so let's go to the second issue, Nuruddin, because again we are running out of time.
If I may just say very a small thing here. There was a time that 𝗪𝗪 was here in this studio, who's the commissioner for information
in Imo State.
He was here. We have him on interview. I think Hope is a very clever person, and he was able to find his way as the governor chairman of the governors
Progressive
Governors
Governors
Forum.
Forum. And in that, in Nigeria governor, if they want air, if they want to stop the air, they can stop it.
Politically.
Political. So if the governor are rallying and say, okay, we'll do everything possible
To support our own.
to support you, I believe it's
To help him.
going to be an easy ride for him. But this is an opportunity again for Peter Obi to prove that he want to.
So he has to be on ground. He has to pull his weight
He has
now.
to pull his weight.
Because again, by
He has to pull
Curtis, there are
his
people
weight.
who have said that, look, yes, presidential election, there was a lot of sentiment. Obi was able to deliver so much in the southeast, but they are saying that, look, when it comes to governorship, local politics, it's not really been very affirmative.
all politics is local.
And there are people that are saying that it needs to be more available.
And he has also not been so much present in campaigns as far as some
He
of
has not done enough, you think?
Yes, some of these elections are concerned.
He put more effort on the court and other this.
So-
But he stood by Achonu seriously.
Has he done enough? You think he has done enough?
No. One thing there is there are some ways that you will not expect the presidential candidates to be following, but maybe because of disability, because of the disability of this particular man, he stood even before the court affirmed. He stood by him. He makes sure that even during this time of declaration, I agree that Peter Obi needs to even if you don't become president now, and you have the aim that okay, maybe next 4 years I still want to contest, you must make sure that, because you need governors that are from your party that is going to really be selling your candidate.
The way Peter Obi campaigned in Lagos, they are not campaigning anywhere in Nigeria like that.
Because he kept coming.
Obi was a retail campaigner in Lagos.
And he delivered.
And he was going because he went to Ladipo Market.
He was at
Alaba. He was everywhere. He was everywhere, just like the way Sanwo-Olu campaigned. He was in barber shop. He was in computer repair shop. He was everywhere. And I think that he needs to do that for Achonu in Imo State. And help him cross the line.
All right. The chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Professor 𝗪𝗵𝘁
Yakubu,
has said that results. We have moved to the second issue. I've said that the results of Bayelsa, Imo, and Kogi governorship elections will be uploaded on its result viewing portal, IReV.
Like they did in the last election.
I promise. Professor Yakubu said this while speaking with newsmen at Ward 009 LEA School, 𝗪𝗪 Village, Ajakuta LJ in Kogi State. Yakubu who was in the state to monitor the mock accreditation exercise ahead of the November 11 governorship election, said that the commission would follow the laws for accreditation and results collation during the state's election. Now I'm quoting him. This method is as provided by the law. Electronic accreditation, electronic upload of results on the IReV portal, and that is why we are doing this mock election. So please disregard whatever was reported about what the resident electoral commission has said in Bayelsa. That's going to be the procedure. IReV now, real-time results, IReV. And I urge you that that is what the commission will do. I think that, sounding that reassuring, does it in any way help to redeem? Is there a period of redemption for INEC in this off-season election?
This is a movie we have watched before. It's not a new movie.
Maybe they've edited it.
Because you know what I'm saying? It's a movie we watched before. Before the February election.
Yes.
This was the same reassurance we're told. Festus Okoye even put out a statement.
Yes, counter statement.
The INEC chairman said, look, listen, we cannot invest this kind of money in this system.
And we will not use it.
What are we going to do if we're not going to give you, transmit the results? You understand? And when they couldn't transmit that result, they didn't even come out to tell Nigerians to say, we're having problems.
They said there was a glitch.
Yeah, but they didn't say so until I think Akin Oshintoku
When people are now asking
went on
questions.
TV to say that he heard from some foreign envoy that some games were up and that INEC cannot upload results real time. It was then they were forced to issue a statement and say they had a technical glitch. Now, the problem is, and I'm not saying that the fact that something went wrong before, it means that something can never be right. You understand what I'm saying? But you see, if you want to buy nails, you don't go to an ice cream shop. You go to a hardware shop. I mean, the same man who told Nigerians that this is what we are going to do, nothing will stop us. And because we have the backing of the law, like he's saying now, they were the same people who turned around to say there is nothing in our laws that compel them.
That they have to choose by themselves, whatever they
to
choose.
Transmit results real time. And in fact, some of the courts have already heard that INEC has exclusive power to determine what mode to use.
So nobody forced them to choose this
You understand? So I think he needs to go back to the drawing board and say to himself,
what if the glitch?
Can we really deliver on our promise? Because as I speak to you, I don't think so many Nigerians believe that INEC is capable of transmitting this result real time. Don't forget that the only thing the beavers failed to do in the last election was to transmit that result real time to the IReV.
And that was the problem.
And that was the problem. Because it could do accreditation, it could read your fingerprint.
Stop overvoting.
You understand? It could, and all that. So the question is, why did that not happen? And up to now, we've not been given any convincing reason.
Proper explanation for that glitch.
Yes. Even all the talk, you remember the former chief, the chieftain of PDP, Ebode George, who came out to say the guy in charge of INEC room had affiliation to a candidate or was a member, and all that. You remember the guy threatened to take him to court if he didn't withdraw the statement. The man didn't withdraw the statement, and the person whom he accused has not gone to court up to now.
Okay, but again, I understand where 𝗪𝗪 𝗪𝗏 because again, people will say that once bitten, twice shy, or thrice shy in some cases.
Look, if I left for me, I think the man should just assure Nigerians that
will do a good election.
He will conduct election to the best of his ability. All this whole idea of we will transmit, watch us, blah 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 blah. When of course Nigerians no longer believe that he's capable of doing so. Let him surprise us.
All right, do you think we should give him the benefit of, on this one? Like maybe the problem at that time had been fixed. You don't want to give him some.
I'm not giving them any small benefit of that. The reason is, if INEC, as usual, mess up some election, what is the consequence?
Go to court.
No, it will to the chairman or staff of and there's no consequence. Nothing. INEC, nobody, he will not resign. Neither will you say, because of let me even apologize. Then the issue is this is my own personal opinion.
So you don't trust him on this.
This is my own personal opinion. INEC officials, some officials of INEC have been committing coup against Nigeria. Because for example, if Oga Nurudeen is supposed to be the person that the people will vote for, and some official in collaboration with something take that vote, that mandate, to me, is that not a coup?
You know what?
It's a technical coup.
Talking about some American officials, something happened recently. Maybe it missed a lot of Nigerians. Barrister Curtis Nurudeen, the INEC official in Kano State, until the central INEC had to correct that. Look, they are not pulling out of the petition. Somebody, an INEC official had written to say that INEC was pulling out of the joint petition with the winner of the election.
He even say it on national television. Sir.
So Oga Fuhad, Kogi state election, Imo state election.
Bayelsa.
No, Lely Bayelsa. Kogi state election, Imo state election, there could be a rerun election.
Because of it's going to be very tough.
Because of the way it will be tough. And you know, INEC will say, okay, so local government, okay, there's going to be a runoff or rerun. And you know, when it comes to that rerun, we have experience from Osun State, experience from Kano State.
Yes.
It is whatever they will decide, some individual decide.
They will.
That is what.
No, Rudy, before we open the phone lines, because I'm eager to open the phone line. There are too many messages I would have to read, so I want to open the phone lines early. There's a process. It's a process chosen by INEC. Nobody forced it on them. It's a procedure they have decided to adopt in conducting elections. Don't you think that the chairman, after what had happened February, had been able to fix one or two things? And because this is not a national election, just 3 states, it will be easy for them to follow the entire process. And the most important one that Nigerians have been talking about, transmission of results real time using IReV, could be possible this time. Now it's not, Gbogbo election. It's just 3 states. You think we should just see what INEC can do?
Ordinarily, there is no big deal there.
They should be able to do it ordinarily.
It should. But the problem there is that when we have to look at the antecedent of INEC, even the last one that we talked about, at least if you have done it in few states,
and there were few
and there are a few other states that did not do, we can still be using one. Okay, but I think we should be able to do it considering our banks.
So we are expecting him to do it.
Yes, considering our banks. Would they say because some people are attacking their whatever, they will now shut down the system that nobody will be able to receive?
But sometimes we have situations where you can't do any transfer.
It's not it's not all part of Nigeria.
And it's not all the banks.
It's going to be all the banks.
Even aside that,
but one thing there is that
but
one of the things that the last election has shown that Professor 𝗪𝗵𝘁𝗪𝗵𝘁 and his people really fumbled with the issue of it. That is very obvious upon all what the politicians has done to themselves with their talks. But in the area of that transmission of results, I think with now we'll be able to do it.
But I don't trust them.
But one thing is that no Nigerian want to trust them. But there's a way they can even also surprise Nigerians.
Yes.
But real time need to be defined.
No, immediately. There's no other definition.
You need to be defined.
Even
it did not happen. Do you know how many days? Upon the shouting that it did not do, did you know that it took the number of which days, even weeks before it cannot? Even there are some that has not completed.
You know, the most annoying thing of the whole thing is the fact that some courts are even saying under the extant law, INEC is not obligated
to choose.
But they are choosing it now.
That's what I'm saying.
If they choose it, there is no law saying.
But they choose it. Before the last election.
They choose before the last election.
And we have clear provisions of the electoral law.
You think that it should not even talk about it? Just do
elections. It should just do elections fair and
if he has a choice, as we have been told by the court that he has,
they should pick anyone.
Do the normal election. Don't even go and waste money on beaver. Do the normal election. How you people declare winners as you want. Okay. Go ahead. What is all this?
And another one, this election, we don't want situation in which the court will now choose governors at the end of the day.
Well, people will still have to go to court.
We know, but we don't want the court will now choose fourth to now become governors.
Let him equally promise so that if something happen on the contrary based on their plan, that he will resign.
He will resign.
Let him promise us
so that
I will resign.
Resign, why?
And we don't want the one of Adamawa treatment also.
You will resign only when you feel that you didn't meet expectation, you have done something wrong. Professor Mahmood believes that he conducted the best election in the country. So why should he resign?
All right, 09136000410. 09136000410. Yes, we're opening up the phone lines now. You can also still drop your messages on our Facebook and YouTube platform. I will take all the messages definitely today. Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening. This is Olakunle from Ojodu.
Oh, Mr. Olakunle, how are you doing?
Very good, very good. Thanks, guys. I've been listening to you for just about 10-15 minutes.
Hey, 1 minute, please. We need to take it.
Yeah, quickly. For me, I just feel that no day people will never complain about elections. And the past elections, simply, Beavers has been the game changer. However, the issues surrounding IReV will continue to raise issues. But the facts have been laid by the court, and it's clear that IReV is not a collation center. The quicker we accept that, the better. As we are as of today, IReV has still not been able to give us all the results.
Yes, sir. Why is
So-
he promising?
I beg your pardon, sir.
So,
No, I say, why is he
why
not
is Professor
promising?
Mahmoud talking about it again?
So for me, even if he talks about it back and forth, we will still go back to the court judgment. So simply, I just feel that we should. That's the truth. So simply, I just feel that we should stand by the basic things we need to do for elections and ensure that our collation process is as tight as it should be, so that we'll have less frictions.
Thank
and
you.
if we go to court, it will be easier to resolve. Thank you very much, and God
God
bless
bless
you.
you, Mr. Lakunle from Ujodu. I think that makes a lot
That's
of
it.
sense.
That's
Hello,
it.
good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Yeah.
Please go
As
on.
your okay, I'm Victor, calling from South Lighton.
Please go on, Victor.
The people of Bayelsa, Imo State, and
Kogi State.
Kogi State.
You
Just
need
get
to,
it at the back
Victor,
of
you
your
need to
mind
turn
that,
down the volume of your radio set, please. Please turn down the volume or move away from your radio.
Okay, I've done that.
All right, perfect now.
Those three states, the people should get it at the back of their mind that the professor has come again to deceive them.
How would you just say the process? Victor, hello, good evening. No. That's a very bad one. When you call, please just turn down the volume of your radio set so that we can hear you clearly.
Victor is angry.
He's angry.
Exactly.
But this is radio. It's not a WhatsApp group. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening. All right. We'll see to that. 09136000410. 09136000410. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening. My name is Peter. I'm calling from Iju Shaga.
Okay, Peter, please go on.
Yeah, I feel INEC can deliver, but the assurance that they are giving is just like the presidential election. They have opened a window to leave it for the candidate that they will choose or whatsoever. I don't want to go into it. When the matter gets back to the court, whatsoever has happened at the presidential election will still repeat itself. The court will tell you on technicality, this is what happened. INEC is free to choose what he will deliver to. Do you understand?
I'm with you.
And nobody will blame them. It is not given to the political, the candidate of each and every party to do the needful at the grassroots.
All right.
While waiting for that which has happened to the presidential election to happen in case they go to court.
All right. Thank you, Peter.
Yeah,
God bless
thank
you.
you.
All right. Thank you so much. 09136000410. Hello, good evening. Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, my name is Abakar.
Abakar, how you doing?
I'm fine, sir.
Yeah, please go on.
Where don't your panel?
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, on the issue of this election, forthcoming election, and the
INEC chairman. Okay. What are your predictions? The three states. Do you have possible winners in mind?
Actually, I don't have.
Okay.
I don't have. But all I knew that the election can be transmitted through the IReV. Since it's a staggering election, not like the general election. If you see some of the reason why some of the party candidates are very angry about the last election, that some don't have an agent in their polling, several polling units. They're working on the IReV as their collation center. And whatever case, the court has said that IReV is not a collation center. We still have to
do manual.
𝗪𝗵𝗁𝗫, whatever it is. And at the same time, imagine if this election was hacked at that last presidential election before anything can be corrected. It could have been worse. So it is favor that the chairman go through that. Even if they claim that it was a glitch, I think for me it is most favor that way.
Okay.
Because things might be very, very difficult to control.
All right.
Thank
you so much, Abakar. You wanted to say something, Barrister Curtis?
No.
All right. 09136. I take this call and then I'll take the messages we have on Facebook and YouTube. Hello, good evening. Hello. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening, sir.
All right, please tone down the volume of your radio.
Well, I'm not with radio. I'm using my earpiece.
Okay, your name is?
God bless you. This is Timothy calling from my.
All right, Timothy.
I greet your guest.
We greet you too.
God bless you. Concerning the up-season election that is coming out from these 3 states, for my own view, for Imo, I give it to Labour Party.
Okay.
Because local sentiment is still working. Up to now, many Igbos have not believed that both Узодимma is their governor in the Imo state. I'm telling you the truth. And compared to the sentiment they have about APC, I give it to them. Let me go to INEC concerning the IReV they are still talking about. See, why can't you talk to MS for once abroad? Let them leave Nigeria alone. Do their own work. I'm telling you the truth. They are not trying to raise hope again. And at the end of the day, it does the hope. What kind of system is this? Nobody begs you to choose the one you want to choose. Then we allocated a lot of funds to this thing. And the last time you didn't give us anything. Now you are still speaking about this thing that you transmit results in real time. What kind of are they taking us for granted? I don't just understand.
All right.
Have a nice day.
All right.
Because I don't understand this kind of hope.
All right. Is INEC hope? All right. Let's take the messages we have on Facebook. We have Jonah Kogi. Yeah. Thank you so much. He was one that notified us of the poor audio, but I think we fixed that, and he actually said he's a fan. Thank you so much. We also have Akorede 𝗪𝗪𝗀𝗪 𝗦𝗪𝗴 who is saying, I'm also a diehard fan of the show. Thank you so much, Akorede. And we have Munir Kolawole who is saying the app radio is stable now. Thanks, Mr. Fuhad. God bless you, Munir. We have Akinde Ido who is saying, good evening, the wise men in the studio. I think the incumbent governor will win in Bayelsa. Senator Dino will take Kogi and APC will take Imo, giving his own predictions. We have Unwundu Austin who is saying, good evening, Mr. Fuad. Note that you are the only neutral person in that studio. The other guests are sentimental to PDP. Watch all of their analysis in all the 3 states. They all went for the PDP. Can you still record the analysis? What? I'm reading his comments. Can you still record the analysis before the 2023 election? None of them gave it to APC. Eventually, APC is in power today. Can you review all they said before the election about APC?
Where was this guy when we were talking?
Again,
he's using no sentiment.
Maybe he just woke up from sleep.
You don't know. He's choosing what you want to listen.
I understand selective perception.
We never, apart from
Bayelsa, you hear
Bayelsa,
what you want to hear.
apart from Bayelsa that we said because it's a traditional PDP state,
yes.
we never gave any state to PDP.
I think even in Kogi state, it was
Even
left
Kogi,
open.
yes,
No, Kogi we said the local sentiment
And the man in
Ajaka.
Kogi East, Ajaka.
yeah, but with the incumbency factor and the federal might,
Anything can happen.
Anything can happen.
And then in Imo State, I think you tilted even more to Узодимma.
Yeah.
But again,
well, people hear what they want to hear.
Selective perception. But thank you so much, Unwundu Austin. We have Basil Chika, and he's saying Kogi, Bayelsa, and Imo governorship elections are just like charade or jamboree to me and cannot be taken seriously because both the electoral umpire and judiciary are already, I don't know about taking sides. The last result, again, Basil Chika, let's have some hope. Let's just trust the process. We have Memuga Kentimi, who is saying, good evening to everyone in the studio. Mr. David Leon of APC winning the last governorship election in Bayelsa State was because of protest votes by the people. The immediate past governor of the state was becoming like an emperor, with the state people asked to block before it gained weight in the state. Governor Diri in 4 years has opened the rural areas to the state capital. This is a big plus for him. Governor Diri has brought peace and progress to the state despite the difficult wetland. Bayelsa State is PDP and the prosperity government will win. They have a name for him, prosperity government. Okay. I don't know how much of prosperity has brought to the state.
Like the one in Adamawa, ATM governor.
Okay. The happy hour is in Akwa Ibom. So whatever the governor, former governor, 𝗪𝗵𝘁𝘀𝗪 is bringing to this election, it will not win because so many violence and loss of life during his 5 years in power. and that's from 𝗪𝗵𝘁𝘀𝗽𝗽. Maybe it's from Bayelsa.
Yes.
Yeah, we also have Benson Richie, who is saying, good evening, my great people. Well done. Thank you so much. We also have Okwega Hope Oshogwe, who is saying, good evening, the moderator and members of the panel. In Bayelsa State, the PDP might win it. Just a way of honoring former President Goodluck Jonathan by President Tinubu. He has never said he's a member of the PDP. However, in Kogi State, the odds will be against 𝗪𝗵𝘁𝗀𝗪. He will not only be contending against the APC and other political parties, he will also be contending against the First Lady, Senator Remi Tinubu, and former Governor 𝗪𝗧𝗃. Well, Tinubu, the First Lady is not going to vote in Kogi State.
Yeah, but I mean, this is politics, and they are not only in government; they are in power. So the guy who said that understand what he's saying.
Oh, okay, maybe the disagreement at the Senate and
Of
all of that.
course.
You know, they didn't have. They were not the best of friends.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We also have Tijani Afolabi, who is saying, "Good evening, the three wise men in the house. I think former Senator 𝗪𝗵𝘁𝗀𝗪 will try, but APC candidate Adodo will come out victorious." Abdurrafiu Alabalakpe is saying, I'm seeing APC retaining Kogi and Imo State, while PDP will also retain Bayelsa. However, I want to appeal to all Kogites and Imolites to give more chances to APC candidates in the two states so that the good work can continue. It's campaigning on our platform, but it's okay. And also, they should come out and mass to vote massively, and as well, they shouldn't fight. Okay, I like that. Votes don't fight. Alabalakpe from Sabo Niba in Ojo. Thank you so much, Mr. Alaba Alakwe. We also have Temple the Prince, who is saying, good evening, Mr. Fuad, and the greatest panelists in the studio tonight. Good topics on the table and perfect analysis and permutations, especially Kogi State politics. God bless you all, and have a blessed week. Thank you so much, Temple the Prince. I think, okay, Mr. Alaba Alakwe also has Barrister Curtis. Kogi election is between Ajaka of the SDP and Ododo of the APC. Doesn't give Dino a chance. I don't see 𝗪𝗵𝘁𝗀𝗪𝗁 in the race. Alabalakwe from Oniba. All right.
He's in the race.
He's a candidate.
He doesn't see. He doesn't see him in the race. And then we have
maybe he meant I don't see him winning.
Okay, well, 𝗪𝗵𝘁𝗪𝗧𝗪 saying good evening, Mr. Fuad, Barrister Curtis Adigba, and Mr. Folorunso and Nuruddin. You people are doing a wonderful job this evening. INEC chairman should go and rest and stop promising us what he cannot deliver. 𝗪𝗵𝘁𝗪𝗪𝗍 from Agric Road, Egon, Lagos. Yes, okay. Let's go back to taking phone calls. 09136 0000410. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Ishala on the line.
All right, Mr. Shala, please go on. Where are you calling from?
Atota.
All right, please go on, sir.
I just want to say that APC will win in Imo and Kogi State.
Okay.
But that of Bayelsa, the former governor, I don't think people like his candidacy.
Silva.
Yes, Silva.
All right.
Then I want to appeal to Nuruddin to take it softly with APC. Please, we beg him.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Shola from Atom. APC guys are appealing to you to please take it something.
Join APC.
No, you don't need to join.
Journalists cannot. Any journalist that knows his words will not be a politician.
A very good evening to the family in the studio.
Good evening, Prince.
God bless all of you. I bless the management.
Amen.
I bless Nigeria, my country.
Amen.
Amen.
You see, this is our next Shama. If I were him, I won't say anything. I won't predict anything. Don't go in there and conduct election and let people know it's the winner. The one they did last time, many people are complaining. But people like me, I commend him for not taking that to that IReV or what they call it. If it is Apple, they will hack it and there will be a confusion. And look at the political party. They were waiting for that IReV to upload it today. That's why they can't get 𝗪𝗵𝘁𝗀𝗪𝗧𝗪, 𝗪𝗵𝘁. When they go to the tribunal, after them present it, because your agent must get that 𝗪𝗵𝘁𝗀 before uploading to IReV. Why can't they have it? So the aim and determination is that immediately they put in the that thing, they're ready to hack it. That's what I saw. And now, for the next election,
your prediction, the three states.
Right. I don't want the play or what they call it.
Silva.
I don't want it to win. That former minister.
Okay.
If the minister of the federation, he performed poorly. He was there. They were taking our money to Kwafri refinery as a minister.
he allowed the GM of a person to do all those things. So that man is not qualified to be a governor.
Okay.
And for Kogi, it is between SDP and APC. For him, when you talk with this Imo man, the man perform, but I don't know whether to the satisfaction or not. I just wish them peaceful election. There should be no violence. We need peaceful election. No more, no less.
All right.
Good evening to all of you in the
God bless
studio.
you, Prince Wise. Thank you so much. 09136000410. Let me just take this. Okay, we're taking that. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Fuad.
Yes.
I'm Kaudi from Abeokuta.
All right, please go on.
I greet all our guests in the house, Nuruddin and others. Good morning. Good evening to you all.
Good evening.
When we talk about Imo Bayelsa Kogi off-season elections, I think it should be the last one for now. I don't know, but I believe that should be the last set of elections to be conducted by INEC chairman, who will probably now take INEC chairman's statement to the bank and then think that the account will be so stable and then you can get something back from such bank. I don't take him any longer for his words than to say that let's probably see reason why no election shall be probably be disrupted by anybody in government, either president, either any incumbent governors or whatever. For else, there will be chaos, and I don't pray for chaos. Let there be free election conducted. If not, what's the quality in whatever note or in characteristic that this man wanted to distinguish now from another one than what he gave us in the last presidential election? Right. So I don't take him for his word. It's not that important to me that he will come now and say, I'm going to make sure that things work well, or probably we transmit all the result by so. Right. I don't think he will be able to do that now. Once you didn't do it then, what's give us opportunity that, or hope that you are going to do it? But I want to warn, sir, in Imo and Kogi, APC should not disturb them. Let there be free, fair, and credible election. And you will see that PDP will win in those two states that I've just mentioned.
Well, your prediction.
Thank you.
But I think in terms of disturbance, thank you so much, Kaudi. I think in terms of disturbance, we just appeal to all the political parties, not just the APC.
Yes.
We appeal to our politicians to be well behaved. You know, I think that should be the message.
The fact is that all political parties rig election in Nigeria.
Yeah, so it's the best you got.
And they are all involved in violence.
They should not rig, and they should maintain the peace.
Yes, it's just that the incumbents also have upper power.
No, but we just think that we should just
at least all of them.
Let's have a clean, beautiful election.
That's all. Anybody
that we can be very proud of. You know, we have on our Facebook platform, we have Olodudemu we saying all we want, again, just reiterating what I just said, is free, fair election that will facilitate good governance quite a while. You know, it's been a while we've seen very peaceful, fair election. And it's time to at least let's have these 3 states. It's been a while. We have Kyle Diolonode, which I think we just called from Abeokuta, who can take the words of INEC chairman to the bank and think that this current statement will bring hope or anything to rely on. Not at all. We have Akinde Ido, who is saying we cannot trust INEC with their empty promise again. The same thing they said during presidential election, they failed on the promise. We are tired of promises. They should deliver. Semiu Akinde from Abule Egba. And then we have Olodemi saying INEC should give their best. I think all of the appeal still goes to INEC. Just do a beautiful election, and I think it will count. I think we can still sneak in maybe 2 or 3 more calls, and then we call it a day on the show. Hello, good evening.
Hello, Fuhad, good evening. I greet everybody in the studio.
Obi, you never go Imo.
Now Tuesday they go. Next tomorrow.
Okay, I just said it that you are from Mr. Chono.
Imo State is hot. I told the town senator Chono in his bed, I said, Oga, if you know you are not serious, leave this thing. I hope he's not doing an election. He will muzzle you people out. He knows that he said, if you know you are not serious to do the same way he behaves, better forget it and leave it for other people to. Don't worry. He said that because you see this is the man that the witness in the court for him was a police commissioner. Who he made police commissioner now? Listen, the man is police that stood for witness for him is the current police commissioner of Imo State. I thought gonna say here you and the Samdad is Anya, I know him too. Say you people are there and the same commissioner you people are not protesting. The INEC woman that wrote the result for 27 local government is still the same INEC. I say, okay, I will come late. That's why I'm going later. So let me just come and see you. If people are not serious.
So you don't believe
because the election is always won before election. So thank you very much, my brother.
Obi, I still think that the votes can count. I believe that votes can
my brother, forget, not with hope. Oh. I know him very well. I know hope very well too. Forget.
Thank you. I think the votes will count. We have on YouTube Ajayi Thomas, who is saying Kogi Central is not a walkover for Ododo. Even the governor is afraid of being betrayed by his loyalists. I think that's a very valid
that's the reality.
You know, it's not a walkover at all. We have still on
and it's also quarreling with the paramount ruler of the Igba people.
Yes, Ibrahim.
So he one of
Even queries.
I think all the three elections will be very tough. I think all the three elections will be very, very tough. We have Abdurrafiu Alabalakwesi saying, guys, you are not considering insecurity in Imo. We said it. We discussed it, that insecurity in Imo.
We even said there will be no election in some parts of Imo.
Some part of Imo State.
All right, let's take some few more calls, and then I allow my analysts to give their final take on the show this evening. Hello, good evening. Good evening, yes.
Hello.
I don't know, we're struggling to hear you. Can you shift your position a bit? Yeah, I think it's better now.
Hello?
Yes, it's better now. Please go on.
Mr. Cambelina.
Oh, Mr. Cambelina, where are you now? The thing is not sounding like in the morning.
I am somewhere.
Where are you? What are you doing?
I'm hiding somewhere.
It's in Imo.
You're hiding somewhere. Are you in Imo State?
What?
Yes.
Let me tell you. The Bayelsa man, the 𝗃𝗃 candidate,
Yes.
it was allowed to have he had 42 houses that INEC was questioning about. What happened to that matter? He wants to go back to Bayelsa again. It's so funny. And for the INEC chairman, I think it should not tell us anything. All we needed him to do the INEC, he didn't do it. So the presenter, he didn't do it. But by now, he's just keep quiet. I don't want to see that man again. Every time I see him, I see the office.
All right, thank you. Thank you. But he's still the INEC chairman, and he has to do his job. I will take the last call for the evening, and then I allow my analysts to give their final take this evening. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening, sir.
Yeah, the final call for the evening.
Yeah, I'm Joseph from Lekki.
Please go on, Joseph.
You see, I don't want to go straight to the call. The INEC chairman, you see, that man is not good to be an INEC chairman. After 8 years, since 2015, Buhari and Jonathan election, this man, for the president, that's just the last election that he conducted, he has caused a very serious mayhem in this country. And he's not supposed to come out and still promise Nigeria that he wants to deliver the 3 states, Bayelsa, Kogi, and Imo. Please, I don't even want to hear his voice again. He's not a man. After 8 years, what is he doing? What is he doing there?
He has not spent up to 8 years.
Well, he spent, okay, who conducted, okay, even during not 8 years, if it is 4 years old, he has seriously caused mayhem in this country.
It was Jega that conducted
Buhari. This country is very good in compromising with some particular.
Well, I think we should just allow Mr. Professor Mahmoud. And it's understandable, because again, I must say that I think we
lay emphasis on it.
I think we caution Nigerians when those promises were being made.
Don't believe this.
The process is largely manual. These guidelines are things that you should not take to heart. But again, maybe Nigerians were so much.
No, but he promised even few days to election. He promised.
People can promise, or it's you too.
But can I tell you something?
Yes.
If those results were transmitted
real time,
this would have been the best election this country ever conducted.
That was just the major problem.
Now, the mere fact that he failed to do that left a fog over this election.
And leave room for that.
All right, let me have your final take by 𝗃𝗃, because 1 minute, we're out of time.
Well, election is not war. People of Bayelsa, Imo, and Kogi State, conduct yourself peacefully. Go out there and cast your vote. If they will allow you to cast the vote,
they will vote.
We've seen it in different elections that people will go out, conduct themselves peacefully, and yet they are not allowed to vote. And so we are hoping that you will conduct yourself peacefully and that you'll be allowed to vote.
All right, thank you so much, Barrister 𝗃𝗧𝗪 𝗦𝗃𝗪. Joseph Olorunso, your final take this evening.
To me, let Nigeria say that all eyes should be on the security personnel. I don't want to leave INEC. That when the 3 elections, at least we should not even see one person being pushed, not to talk of someone losing his life
Or ballot box being snatched.
So let the or whatever the security personnel is going to promise us, IGP is okay. Kogi, Bayelsa, Imo is going to be. If the election is not for say, I will resign. Or I will make sure that the commissioner.
You will not get resignation from anyone.
The same thing go to the DSS and the rest of it. So
they should do their job
us
and do their job.
Election is going
You will
to
not get promises, but let them just do their job.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, sir, for
The people in Adama who helped resident commissioner to declare
fake
first
result.
But for me,
Don't do that, they will know your
for
final
me, the voters in Bayelsa, Imo, and also in Kogi, the states belongs to them. They should know that November 11, they are creating another schedule for themselves for 4 years.
Another 4 years.
So they should think about education. They should think about road infrastructure. They should think about empowerment and all the goodies that can come to them before they vote for anybody. When they vote, I'm in Lagos, they are in their state. Whatever that happens, they will carry it for another 4 years.
Well, again, I think I want to tag along on that because it's another 4 years of a decision.
So,
It's just like what I said before. You see that plastic you carry? Inside that plastic,
destiny.
You have houses.
Yes.
You have roads. You have hospitals.
That's the voter's card.
You have education. You have everything you need for the next 4 years.
Yes.
Don't let anyone deceive you that is just plastic. Number 2, see that small change they give you, 2,000 to go and cast a vote, or 1,000. If you know it can last you for 4 years, take the money and go vote for them.
All right, would appeal to electorates to look at the future, look at the goodies that can come with a government that will deliver for the people before they cast their vote. We are hopeful that these 3 elections will come very peaceful. We are hopeful that INEC will do its job. We are also hopeful that the security operatives will also do their job. And the political class will also behave themselves so that we can at least have something to hope on that in the future we can get it right with our electoral process. Well, this is what we call it a day political roundtable mainland 98.3 FM. My name is 𝗧𝗵𝗲 𝗦𝗃𝗪. Let's do this again next week.